Hello, everyone. Welcome to our episode one of What is Gridwork, the lines beneath everything. My name is Alicia, and I'm the founder of the Soul Grid. And I work with the intersection where bloodlines, timelines, and grid lines converge. It is all about how a person's ancestry, their geography, and their soul history shape as to who they are. Hi, Priya. Welcome.
Thank you, Alicia. Hello, everybody. I'm Priya, and I'm the founder of Soul Crafted. I primarily work with soul architecture, memory, and soul retrieval, and the internal grid of human consciousness. Now, today we are opening a conversation many of you have been waiting for. And the reason why I say many of you have been waiting for is that if you go into our Instagram, you will find tons of information about grid work in different aspects uh within so many different layers, and there are many of us who have messaged us asking the details of it, and hence we are here today to make sure. I was just checking if my mic is on. And we are here today to make sure that we can give you all information starting today about grid work. So, what is grid work? Why is it really necessary? Why many of you are suddenly feeling the call to grid work? This is what the conversation is going to be about.
And this episode, let me just clarify that this episode is basically for all, but especially for the sensitives of the collective, for the stabilizers, for the people who feel that something is happening, but they don't have the words for it, right? Priya, most people do not have the words for it, but they're like, okay, something, you're feeling something different.
Hmm.
So, dear watchers, if you resonate with any of this, I request you all to please stay through the end, and you can join our WhatsApp group, that is Guardians of the In-Between, where we talk about more of such things. The link is in the description. So let's start from the scratch itself. What is grid work? Priya, would you like to initiate a conversation on this? What are grids? What is grid work, and how simply a person can understand about it?
So, I think to put it in simple words, grid work is a function. Okay.
Mm.
For example, every living system on a grid, that is on this Earth's tectonic grid, magnetic grid, ancestral grid, elemental grid, star grid, and all the internal human grids. So, grid work is, in a nutshell, we're talking about different grids of different layers and
Right,
also the grids within which is within us.
right, right. So we can say that grid work is basically it's the art of interacting between all the structures.
Yeah.
So if we see there is a grid in everything. So family is a grid.
Yeah.
Okay, our nervous system is a grid. Earth is a grid. Our cosmos is a grid.
Yeah.
So uh, there are various lenses to see and understand all these things. I want to clarify that some of the people they think that grids of some sort of uh, wired electrified circuitry. Okay, it is that, yes, but it is a way of seeing. So grid is basically an infrastructure,
Mm.
okay, of being, right? So we feel it instinctively,
Mm.
okay, and we work with all these grids consciously.
Mm.
So that is why some people they feel the land, they serve as bridges
Mm.
between locations,
Mm.
timelines, realms,
Mm.
and they can transmit updates. Even Priya, we have been receiving a lot of updates regarding what is happening on Earth right now.
Mm.
And we have been broadcasting a lot of information that is on our Instagram pages, Soul Crafted and the Soul Grid. So many of us, we feel distortions. Many of us, we decode them.
Mm.
So grid work is a very wide domain which engulfs the whole existence, I would say.
Mm. So I think, to put it simply, a person who works with grid, let's call them a grid worker. Okay,
Yeah.
this is someone whose system responds to the earth and the cosmic intelligence in a way, wherein, when I don't know how many of us know this. This is when I was a kid. Okay, we used to have TVs which had antennas on the roof, and every time we did not get the kind of transmission we wanted, one of us would go up and move the antennas so that the antenna can catch those frequencies and transmit them into the TV. So there'll be somebody down, probably your parents, who's like, ah, it's come, or no, it's not come, and all those things. So grid workers are nothing but antennas who are responding to a signal, just that the signal is coming from the grid. Okay, and this sensitivity is not random at all. Like, I'm sure that there will be people who feel this, and when they feel this, they express it to somebody they are with, and because that person who they are with don't understand the nuances of this, you might be proved like, oh, you're delusional, or I don't understand what you're saying, of
Yeah.
sorts. So I want you to know that if you are sensitive to grids, then it's not random at all, because it is rooted in your original light body. It is rooted within you. That's why you feel it.
Right. So there is a lot of relativity that exists between everything in the cosmos. And why grid work is upsurging nowadays, and a lot of people are talking about grid work in last 1.5 years. Yeah, am I correct? Like there is surge in uh,
I think,
talk.
yeah,
Uh,
like the conversations about grid work has been happening for a very long time, but it is
yeah,
happening in smaller pockets. But
yeah.
what I have realized is since March or April this year,
This year it
I
has
saw
surged.
so many people talk about this, so many people talk about this. And that's around the same time when I came online too with the grid work. So
Yeah,
everywhere I was looking at, like Instagram, Facebook, or even YouTube, everywhere I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, there's so many conversations. And I was so excited to hear what everybody had to say. I would personally, like, I would message them saying that, oh my God, you're onto this too. And like, this is so awesome. This is so awesome. Probably they didn't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, but it was a very exciting time for me personally
yeah.
around this March, April. Yeah.
And I remember I also started like coming forward in March only. Uh, I personally have been feeling and doing a lot of grid work. It's been quite a long time. So the upsurge that is happening right now, I feel it because the earth and everything related to earth is shifting, has shifted.
Mm,
Both of the things are applicable as we are speaking, things are shifting. So from quantum perspective, the magnetic lines are loosening and rebraiding. Okay, so the infrastructure of our firmaments and the physical self of the earth, tectonic pressure is also rebraiding. So on the subtle realm, I would say the timelines are also collapsing. So everything feels very different to everybody. It's not just how everybody is saying, okay, we're not feeling like we used to feel in our childhood,
mm,
in our teenage, not even last year. So why are we in this constant feeling of collapse, maybe changing, maybe transformation? So
mm,
I want to clarify that the earth is cracking open, guys. And there are so many factors to it. We will be talking about all these things in our upcoming episodes as well. So, healers of the earth, the grid workers, they are being pulled to come online, talk about it, work on it consciously. So, that is why there is surge in so much retreats,
mm,
convergences as well. People are traveling from one place to another. So many people are feeling called to shift
mm,
their locations permanently. They are shifting countries as well.
mm,
So there is a lot of triangulation that is happening. And I feel like these are so the solar flares, I would like to mention that as well, the aspect of it. It is pushing every biodiversity to exist differently, okay? From cellular level to energetic level to etheric level. So that is why there is a lot of drift, shift in the being.
mm,
That is why there is so much of discomfort in our emotional bodies as well. Okay, so grid work has been there, it is there, it will be there. It's our perceptivity which has expanded,
Hmm.
our receptivity, our uh, how we feel it. Okay, I feel like it has expanded and we have reached a frequency where we can perceive and work with all these things. We can feel our surrounding, we can feel our inner self, we can feel our outer reality. So that's that.
To add to what you had to say, Alicia, I also feel it is because the collective neurological awakening is happening at the moment.
Yes,
And what
yes.
I mean by that is people are remembering things, remembering who they are, what they did, how it used to be from the Atlantean, from the Lemurian, from the Mu, from all these different timelines. And even though we feel that these timelines don't exist now, and some of these timelines are very mythical as it is showcased in mainstream, but then it is a Genesis remembrance that is happening. And as we do more of the work, as we, and by work, what I mean is as we do more inner work, as we do more shadow work, as we do more DNA work, more of these original geometric intelligence which is inside our body begins to reactivate. And people who have numbed their sensitivity for decades
Hmm.
um, cannot numb it anymore. I get at least 4 or 5 DMs on a daily basis where people are asking me, I feel stuck. I feel that what I need, I'm not getting it. I
Hmm.
feel what I deserve, I'm not receiving it. Now, when you listen to these questions, they are from a very 3D requirement survival point of view, right? But then what you need to understand is that's how it starts. Because if you are unable to look at it from a very human point of view, then it's going to be very difficult for you to look at it from a multidimensional point of view. And
Hmm.
that is why I said this neurological awakening is awakening the genetic, sorry, the yeah, the Genesis remembrance within people, and the bodies are picking up the information, but however the mind is unable to explain those things yet. So for me personally, when I used to see grid work as energy work on the planet, to be very frank. But now I see it as a two-way communication between the earth speaking through the body and the body speaking back. And it is very instinctive, it's very memory based, it is very responsibility based because you're converging with the earth in real time. When you go to a specific land and when you feel a certain way about that land, you might feel that what am I going to do? Like, I don't have any control over it, I don't have any authority over it, I cannot make any changes. But the
Hmm.
thing is that there are so many things that you can do, and that is what we do when we actually do synarchic convergence, because
Yeah.
we go from one place to another and we do
Yes.
these things.
Yeah.
So just because you're not a government body, or just because you do not have any kind of authority like you believe that you should have, doesn't
Hmm.
mean that you're helpless, and that doesn't mean that you cannot do anything.
Right. So, so overall, we can say that the soaring of grid work is not at all a new process. It's just that it is rising and we are finally able to perceive it. Okay. And I have seen so many people when they enter a land, they say, I'm feeling something different.
Mm,
So that's the grief of the land, maybe. Okay, maybe the land is wounded. Maybe it stores the memory of so many battlefields. Okay, so that's how you see. Sometimes you cross a water body, somebody crosses a water body, they feel very different because there is elemental level fluctuation in their flesh existence as well.
mm,
So that's how you perceive on seen domain, in the seen domain, in
mm,
the unseen as well. There are so many things that are happening in your energy body. um, it is being shown in your dreams, in your liminal self, and you are able to see this. That's why your dreams have been so vivid and lucid these days. They are not just the depiction of what has happened in the day.
Mm.
So it is a direct depiction of what is happening in your inner reality and what is happening outside, because you are the interface. And now comes a question that so many grid workers are talking about it, that uh, why they're talking about it. So why there is a need of grid work at this hour? Why it has become the top notch or utmost necessity on the planet? So why there is so much emphasis on the grid work? Priya,
Alicia, if
would
you
you?
look at everything that is going around, there are
Yeah,
wars, there is so
yeah,
many distortions, there is
yeah.
earthquakes, there is volcanoes, there is so many different things around the world, right? Every
Mm,
other day in the news, we see things about some of the other climatic change. And mainstream says it is because of global warming and XYZ. But
mm,
then my question, like, I have a lot of arguments or discussions with myself, okay? So I end up asking, if you know that it is global warming, then why are you not stopping what you need to stop? Like, why are you allowing deforestation? Why are
yeah,
you allowing these big ships to excavate or kill those animals that are
and
under the sea, right? Why are you destroying the planet? So if you know it is global warming, and if you are the people who are causing it, why are you blaming it on citizens like us who are trying our best to be as sustainable as we can? And when I mean by that, I know a lot of people, including myself, who use renewable or biodegradable stuff when we are using things at home. We make sure that we're not putting garbage into any other place other than the garbage bin. So when we are taking care of it, you as authorities, why the fuck are you not doing anything about it? Okay. Now when a common person who have no awareness of grid work or anything per se looks into the news, okay,
mm,
there's so much of chaos around,
yeah.
right? And it is very disturbing if you are having having a hive mindset, which most of us have had, right? It's just that I see this change happening since the last couple of years, but before that it is mostly been hive mindset. So when you see all these chaos, please know that these chaos are not random in nature. They are the earth's way of reorganizing what needs to be reorganized. For example, the flood that happened in Kashmir, Punjab, we all know that it was a cloud burst and all
Yeah.
those things, right? But if you look at it, and I think anybody can see it, there were so many things that came out which people have been trying to hide. That means all the trees that they have been cutting down in the forest, the trees made it very visible, the water made it
Yeah,
very visible,
very true.
because half the things in that flood was trees that was cut in the forest, right? And then you say that, oh, there is landslides and there are so many things that is happening in the mountains. It's not because of travelers going there, it is because of the government who's allowing these things to happen. Now, coming back to the point, when you see these chaos, please know that these chaos is earth reorganizing herself, okay? And whenever the earth reorganizes, it needs intermediate people who can listen, who can understand deeply,
Yeah.
and who can translate these information. What we are just doing right now is just that, okay? And whether humans know it or not, all biodiversity is acting as nodes, meaning animal, water bodies, trees, mountain ranges. Every species is responding to this repatterning of Earth's internal circuitry. And is happening within us as well. Do you really feel when Earth is reorganizing, we are going to remain the same? We are
Mm,
not.
not at all. So, all the climatic change that is happening right now, it cannot be worked with just with the government actions or actions of people, or it needs some energetic mindfulness, I feel like. And that's where grid workers are working right now. Uh, and all these people who are very sensitive to the Earth's recalibration that is happening right now, they are acting as pressure walls. Okay. What it means is that they can feel the collective in their bodies, okay, in their physical body, in their subtle body. They have all the information in their dreams. They are getting all the downloads regarding the same. They are transmuting this huge collective energy. So you see, there are some souls, so the structure and infrastructure of architecture of souls is also very different. Okay. So there are some souls who are placed, as Priya said, nodes. Okay. These souls are acting as transmuters of those particular regions. Okay. And that's why I have seen so many grid workers traveling to, even in the Synarchic convergence, we have so many nodes we are covering in 2026, right? And so when the earth releases a lot of energy, even the collective biodiversity releases a lot of energy. Okay. So we absorb and transmute that energy consciously. We work with biodiversity consciously. Okay, we feel the charge of the land. We feel the land, we feel the oceans, we feel the animals, and we feel the density of the land. I, Priya, there was a time when I was a teenager. I traveled a lot alone, and I used to step on a land, and I was like, okay, this happened over here, and I'm feeling a lot of this type of energy. I have most of my friends from the mountains, and they used to take me to their full devis
Mm,
and full devatas.
mm,
And later on, I realized that it was a very unusual phenomena that happened. I'm having goosebumps right now while narrating this. So traveling to all these lands and places, guys, it is not random. You are not traveling places because it's just random. If you feel called to go to a place, that means you are meant to be there for that particular period of time. That is why your bodies are helping those zones to stabilize. Okay, that is why there is a need of grid work consciously. That is why, like, so many people are coming up, and people who have been working as grid workers or earth stabilizers or seers, they are moving to the next wave now. Okay. And they are guiding the ones who are upsurging. Am I correct, Priya? I think
yeah,
this is
yeah,
the phenomena that I have seen this
yeah,
year in
yeah,
2025.
yeah. Also
Yeah.
want to add to what you're saying, okay? From everything we have spoken so far, it might sound like grid workers are here to save the planet. To be very frank, I don't need I don't feel Earth needs saving. Okay, she's
Yeah.
not waiting for us to do something to save her. I think she's given up hope on us big time because of everything that we have done. Okay. What I want to say, Gridwork, is about collaborating with the living intelligence that is already evolving. Okay. Um, if you have been watching the news, you might have seen that some animals that have gone extinct for the last 12,000 years are coming back, right?
Yes.
Now, it's
Yes.
not possible that animals go extinct and they come back. So, it's very sure that they were never extinct. And I used to always tell this that they're never extinct, that's there somewhere. And the reason why I say that the intelligence is evolving, it's already evolving, is because of the comeback of these animal beings. Okay, so we are here to make that evolution smoother for the collective's nervous system. So this is the foundation of the work Alicia and I do, and why inside Guardians of the In Between we connect once in a month to do some very proactive grid work in whichever grid that we feel called to. So it's not something that we have decided. We get the download of where we need to do what we need to do, and we do it collectively. I think we are a group of 16 to 17 people now. So if you want to be part of this, because the only thing that we need for this is your time and your energy, and that's about it. So we are excited to connect with more grid workers, to be very frank, because when I got this information that we need to work on grids, I was very clear that I'm not going to be doing it alone. And that's the reason why 17 people got accumulated in the last couple of months. Okay. And anyone who's interested, please be part of this. We're excited to connect with more grid workers, sensitives, light language transmitters, stabilizers, and people who can feel the pulse of the earth in their own bodies.
Right, right. Uh, as you said, pearls of the earth in their own bodies. It brings me back to where we started, the grids,
Mm,
how we see grids in everything,
mm,
right? So we have been talking about various topics on our platforms, collectively, but particularly, the two domains, that's how we see them, is inner and outer grids.
yeah.
So, uh, as we have said that everywhere there are grids, okay? Everywhere in Vedic terminology, we use word yantras,
Mm,
okay? In English, sometimes we say sacred geometry,
mm,
okay? So that's the way how you see inner and outer grids. Now, the thing is how all these things are interconnected and how you can identify what is inner grid and what are outer grids.
mm,
So basically, the name itself identifies everything. Outer grid is you are the interface, first of all. You as a person are the interface. The inner is your mind. Okay, inner is whatever is happening in you. Inner is your body. Inner is your nervous system. Your outer environment is the reflection of your inner environment, and your outer environment includes your immediate environment, the your city, your land, the land you are traveling to. It keeps on changing the way it keeps on changing inside.
mm,
That's why both are reflective of each other. That's why we say, no, we used to listen and read this statement on every other page, that is, your outer reality is the reflection of your inner reality.
mm.
Okay, so that's the domain, that's the exact bridge where Priya and I, we both are working. And Priya, would you like to explain a bit about inner and outer grids?
Yeah, so I'll start with inner grid, okay?
Mhm.
Um, Inner grid is your internal wiring, as
Mhm.
simple as that. So it could be your nervous system, it's your emotional body, it's your intuition, it's your internal pathways on how you navigate your emotion, it is your quantum memory pockets. All of this is your inner grid, okay? When your inner grid becomes clear, and what I mean by that is, let me give you a little context for this, okay? From the time we are born until whatever age we are at now, we have gone through constant ramifications. And I mean what I say when I say that, because we have been asked to think a certain way, we have been asked to be a certain way. By asking us to think and be a certain way, there has been a lot of limiting beliefs and conditioning that we have gone through. And because we have gone through those, there is a lot of mm, there's a lot of suffocation, there is a lot of chaos, there's a lot of conflict within ourselves. Okay. I'm sure we all have one side that says be like this and the other side that says be like that. Now these two sides are not external, they are internal. They are our own psyches which are in constant conflict, and there are many parts of us like this within ourselves. To be precise, we have at least 22 to 28 parts, like all of us have it, okay? And these 22 to 28 parts, when they are not together, or when they're working together, is when your inner being is clearer. When these parts are in conflict with each other, there's a lot of chaos within ourselves itself. So when our inner grid becomes clear, the outer grid becomes easier to read. What I mean by that is, when we are working with an understanding of who we are, how we are, what are our plus points, what are our quirks, what are we weird about. When we have awareness of all these things, then the outer triggers don't trigger you anymore because you're so clear of your own triggers. You getting what I'm saying? So, when your inner field becomes clearer, the outer grid becomes easier to read. What I mean by easier to read is that it's easy for you to understand why another person is behaving the way they are. Are you judging them? No, you're not supposed to be judging them. It's more of an understanding as to why they are the way they are. And when the outer grid is unstable, okay, when you have people around you who's creating a lot of conflicts and chaos, then your inner grid reflects that instantly. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is exactly why I created something called as a clarity code to help people stabilize, or more than stabilize, is to understand their inner emotional architecture. I'm going to put in a link below in case you guys want to attend the one that is happening in December. Now, coming to the outer grid, okay? The outer grid is the Earth's atmospheric field, the water grids, the solar plasma currents, the volcanic channels, our planetary resonance field, the
Yeah.
subtle structures through which Earth communicates her, state of being. And that is primarily how I understand outer grid and inner grid, Alicia.
So that's, I think, more than an explanation. It has given a lot of information. And I want to add few pointers to what you have said. I want to talk about human biology over here. So for a very long time, Priya, in my life, and I have seen other people as well with whom I have worked with. With you, I have been working from a very long time, okay? And we have done a lot of shadow work consciously.
Mm,
I have been suffering a lot of physical ailments back to back, and they were unexplainable,
mm,
okay? And I used to track all these things and find solutions for that. So, what I ended up doing is I ended up understanding my own inner biological coexistence with the outer reality.
mm,
And I consciously worked on all these things, and I ended up releasing all that. The energetic density that was there in my DNA,
mm,
okay, which was pushing out. It could be a bloodline density, it could be land density, it could be collective density. So why I'm mentioning over here is there might be so many people who are watching who might be experiencing so many things,
mm,
physical ailments
mm,
that they might be going through, like lymphatic drainage is
mm,
one of the most prominent things.
mm,
Guys, your fascia is the most intelligent physical flesh network that you have in your body,
mm,
and it stores whole of the cosmic information. That is why you feel like, okay, I have cramps over here.
mm,
My this side is paining, and I don't know why I have not lifted anything.
mm,
Okay. So once I personally started working consciously on my inner self,
mm,
that's when the real change
mm.
began.
Yeah.
Okay. And immediately after, I was so frustrated as to why I'm not able to function. I
Mm,
was so frustrated with myself.
mm,
And I had similar cases with my friends as well.
mm,
So my friend circle is also very greedy
mm,
in nature.
mm,
And I have so many people, especially from mountains.
mm,
Okay. So
mm,
these people have uh, one of my friends, whole of their bloodline. So
mm,
she was saying to me that our Devata has said that our bloodline is cursed. Uh, that we people will just our flesh will become gooey this way. So we ended up discussing that, and we had a very logical understanding of as to why it is happening in a bloodline. So when the you store a lot of energetic density in your bloodline, okay, it will pass on
mm,
from generation to generation.
mm,
Okay. And simple solution is to work on your inner self. I uh, guys, consider this, and I request you to just click the link in the description and go to the page of the clarity code. See, if you understand how it works, I feel like it is very much structured because I felt like I needed help then.
Mm,
Okay. And I it was like hitting a wall
mm,
that time. I was bedridden for
mm,
years.
mm.
Okay. So years of exhaustion, years of despite of doing so much work, still there was some inner work which was pending. And if you say ki, uh, so most of the people I've seen this, most of the people they say ki, how much we have to do, we have
Mm.
done so much.
Yeah.
Guys, never enough. Uh, it is you are enough, but it is never enough on the same
Can
time.
I say that a little differently?
Yeah, yeah,
Inner work is not something where you attend a 3 week or a three
yeah,
day or a 3 month course and it is done. Okay, this is my understanding.
yeah,
And this is my experience. I really did not know what inner work is when I started working on myself because I was simply not happy about the way I was. Okay.
yeah,
This was back in 2009. I did not know the terminology shadow work until about 2023, guys. So that is from 2009 to 2023. So you do the math, okay? So 2023, when I got to know about this word shadow work, and I was like, what the hell is shadow work? And then me being me, I went through exhaustive research to understand what shadow work is. Found out Carl Jung and Teal Swan, and I was like, fuck, these guys are doing it for so long. And which cave have I been living in? Because I did not know this terminology at all, right? But what Alicia is trying to say is your inner grid is your interference, okay?
yeah,
When you are ready to embrace your dark side, I'll tell you what is the advantages of embracing your dark side. One,
yeah.
you will go through an awakening. What I mean by that is the time in darkness can be your catalyst, which is so profound that you will have spiritual experiences facilitating the connection to one's true nature and the mysteries of existence. So that is one of it, okay? Second is you will have connection to the subconscious. And what I mean by that is it allows direct access to the subconscious mind, unveiling hidden potentials and insights. It amplifies your intuition, which is a third one, meaning all the darkness nurtures intuitive faculties, promoting insights and inner guidance.
Hmm.
So when you are burying yourself in that guilt and regret, you might feel
Yeah,
really shitty that you're doing it right then, but you have no idea the gold, or forget when gold, okay? It's like, coal converts into diamond, same
yeah.
analogy, but your suppression of all those emotions, when you are ready to embrace those, then all these things are going to happen. So the fourth benefit of you embracing your darkness is inner reflection. That is, there is going to be absence of external stimuli, which encourages introspection, aiding self discovery and deeper understanding.
Mhm.
Fifth one is enhanced awareness. So darkness fosters heightened sensory perception. Okay,
Mhm.
have you heard of people going into silent retreats like what's it called,
Vipassana?
vipassana? Yeah, and also there are many other activities wherein you lock yourself in a room in complete pitch darkness for 10 days, 4 days, 5 days,
Yeah.
1 month of sorts. What is all this going to do? This is going to enhance your awareness. So darkness fosters heightened sensory perceptions, tuning individual into subtler energies and aspects of reality. Okay. Sixth amazing benefit is melatonin production. So, darkness triggers the pineal gland to release melatonin,
Mhm.
which is going to promote sleep and regulate your circadian rhythm. Okay. Hormonal imbalances. 90% of the population, men, women, children included, have hormonal imbalances now.
Yeah.
And you embracing your darkness is going to support the regulation of hormones like your cortisols, which impacts your stress level to quite an extent, and which also impacts your overall, well-being. Energy conservation. You might be like, what the hell is she talking about, right? But
Oh,
I am telling this from my own experience of inner work for the last so
yeah.
many years, guys. The when you embrace darkness within yourself, it signals the body to conserve energy, promote rest and recovery. So all that restlessness, all that, tingling in your skin which is coming from neuropathy, all of that is going to go off, and you're going to have the best sleep possible. I think one thing which I've always heard the people I work with through shadow work say is that, Priya, I'm sleeping a lot and this is so abnormal. I don't sleep so much. And I'm like, yeah, your body has been fighting all these years and now it is not. And hence, the first sign of recovery is you sleeping. So please sleep. So exposure to your darkness enhances your sleep because the body's natural repair and regenerative process begins. Okay. So, what I want to say is this is where your shadow intelligence comes in. The shadows that you carry distort your internal grid the same way the distortions in the land outer affects the outer grid. So the faster you clean, or the faster you understand the shadows and you work with your shadows, your internal starts to change, and as your internal starts to change, it reflects the outside and the external starts to change.
Right? So, which means shadow work is basically a planetary intelligence.
It is. And you know what, and this is not new. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
um I've been getting a lot of downloads about this from a very different angle. We feel that shadow work is very psychological in nature, right?
Yeah, yeah,
um I think anyone who's done shadow work or researched on shadow work will first come across names like Carl Jung, who combined psychology and spirituality and made it together. But what if I tell you that shadow work existed from the time of Lemuria?
yeah,
Because that is why the civilization of Lemuria did not have duality. They did not have repressed emotions. They did not have any of those things because it existed since then. They knew how to alchemize their emotion, and that is why they were the way they were. I think I'm going to be putting up a whole lot of information on YouTube. All the download information, all the information that I have been downloading like a crazy maniac person for the last couple of days, I'm going to be putting that out, and you are going to be your mind's going to be blown away because what I'm going to be putting out is a relationship between shadow work, Atlantean memories, Lemurian memories, Indian Tantra, and
hmm,
all of this combined together. Okay. So watch out for that. Like, I'll give you information, watch out for that. But then coming back to this, yes, shadow intelligence or shadow work is planetary work because you're not just working on your internal shadows. Every time you change something internally, every time you decide that, okay, this is how I have behaved previously, this is
hmm.
what I understand why I behaved like that, this
Right.
is how I this is how this is not helping me at all because this is not me.
Yeah.
And once I understand that this is not me the way I am, the when you go to that cycle of change, okay, what you're doing is you're breaking the loop, and every time you break a loop you're affecting your external grids through it, because as you work on your internal grid you're also amplifying your external grid.
Mm. With all the changes that is happening right now, naturally, through just being, okay, likewise, we were discussing, no, that so many people are saying, like, we are stuck, you said, you know. So I feel like there are the other reasons as well which are responsible.
Hmm.
One of them is solar flares.
Yeah.
It is a major topic in the grid work. We are being forced to evolve, I feel like.
Yeah.
And the pace that on which we are evolving, it is very uncomfortable
Yeah.
for many.
Yeah.
And the solar flares are basically uh, light explosions, I would say. So these are the data. It contains data. It's not just the light that we are receiving. Okay. So why I remember, Priya, when I was in school, when we used to get sick, teachers used to say, "Okay, sit in the sun.
Sunlight.
Go and sit in the sunlight." Okay, why? Why was that? It was not just because you were getting warm. Yes, it is one of the reasons, But guys, sun is always sending corrective frequencies,
Mm,
okay, which is always doing its work. It is not harmful.
mm,
It is just like it breaks all the stagnation. That is why we mentioned that Earth is cracking open.
mm,
Okay, it means that all the stagnation that was there on earth, it is being ruptured, it is getting collapsed. Okay, and so many things are getting affected by this. I've seen so many conversations about how GPS and other satellite systems are getting affected by it. The solar flares. Okay, our gadgets are getting affected, our own liminal domain is getting affected. Okay, and that is also one of the reason why there is a lot of surge in our perception. Tomorrow, today morning only, I had a call from one of my friends, and he said that, Naveen, I am seeing beings around me. And this person is a like very good intellectual person, but we never had such discussion
mm,
between us. Okay, he called me and he said, I'm seeing 3 to 4 beings randomly moving around me.
mm,
What do I do? I am not scared.
mm,
I'm not feeling scared of them. I'm feeling okay with, very comfortable with their presence. So why I'm mentioning this over here is that when naturally your internal channels, your inner grid channels are cleaner, getting evolved, and in becoming resonance with your outer grids, in presence of solar flares that is happening massively on earth, your abilities, what we call uh, gifts, we label them as gifts
mm,
or supernatural abilities,
mm.
it this is our innate structure. We are meant to be like that. Okay, it is increasing. And also we have seen a lot of change in the physical structure as well. Due to solar flares, the movement of animals has changed
Mm,
throughout.
mm,
I have always connected more to the aquatic marine life. It's been that's maybe because of the previous origins of my soul origins. And I have seen there is a lot of difference in the migration structures that
mm,
is happening. This year, if you see the data and compare to the last 100 or maybe more than 100 years, the data speaks for itself. It is very different. Likewise, you have mentioned there is appearance of so many animals as well.
yeah.
Okay, so why all these things are happening? It's just there is a lot of information to process. Okay, take it slow and be grounded in such times. That is very important. And when solar flares are hitting the earth, it not just only alters the magnetic field or morphogenetic field of earth, it also restructures our field as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And Priya, would you like to dissect this, the how earth's how solar flares hit earth and how it impact the earth?
So three things can happen when the solar flare hits Earth's magnetic field, okay? One is that the planetary grid loosens and reconfigures. That is one, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't know how many of you here know something called as a Schumann resonance.
Yes, yes.
But if you don't know, then do some research. Schumann resonance is the heartbeat of the Earth, okay?
Yeah.
And every time, so this is a very, like, I took time to understand this myself, okay? Schumann resonance is a heartbeat of the earth, but the
Yeah.
heartbeat of the earth is calculated by the solar flares by the sun.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see the relationship between the two. And of late, we have been going through many X class flares. So if
Mm.
you, there are many groups on Facebook. So if you can follow one or two, I think one is run by Red Myers. She's an awesome person. I think I only follow hers because there's no hype, there is no overwhelm around it. It's just plain information of sorts.
Mm.
So if you can find hers, then follow her group. So she puts up how the solar flares are, what are the X class flares, what is happening, and all those things. Okay. So one thing that happens during these solar flares is, as a collective, many of them experiences certain bodily reactions. So I'll get to that in some time. But then the three main things that happens is, one, the planetary grid loosens and reconfigures. Second, humans' emotional patterns surface very rapidly. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll get into this in some time, like in detail. Third is intuition spikes and
yeah,
dormant memory switches on because our DNA is pre-positioning system for future target consciousness. Okay, so for those of you who do not know me, just a little update. I have been downloading DNA codes since 2024. It started in July and it just ended in November because I just finished downloading the 12 codes. So now what these 12 codes, or how was I able to download these 12 codes, is another story for another day. But then what happens, these are DNA activators, okay? So as the solar flares are hitting the earth, your DNA, which is called to be a two-strand DNA, uh, the other 10 strands, okay, which then leads to 33 strands,
yeah.
starts opening up.
Hmm.
All right. The reason why I'm telling you this is because in DNA recalibration, what I do is open the stargates that is there within yourself. Now, coming back to what are these flares doing to our human body? It's actually rewriting the memory architecture in our body. Okay.
Hmm.
So when you are feeling the symptoms that I'm going to be listing now, know that the solar flare, once it is exposed in the sun, takes some time to get to the earth's atmosphere. So probably sometimes 72 hours, 42 hours, depends upon the intensity of the flare. When it gets into earth, these are the changes that we feel in our body. One is, you feel a lot of heart flutters. Okay, your heart flutters. I'm laughing because Alicia just scolded me yesterday because I said I feel I'm getting a heart attack. Okay, because your heart flutters feels very much like heart attacks. Okay, like there's palpitations, there is difficulty breathing, and you literally have pain in your chest. Okay, those are your heart flutters. I'm saying this so that you know what is happening, all right? Because I also know people who get very bothered with the physical changes or the physical symptoms that they experience. They don't know if it is energetic or if it is medical. But the reason why I'm telling this to you is for you to be open enough to understand, analyze for yourself. Am I going to something physical? Do I need doctor's attention? Or
Hmm.
is this very energetic in nature? Getting what I'm saying? Okay. Next is you feel hot all of a sudden. Like the weather is very pleasant, not required for you to feel hot, but then all of a sudden you're hot, you're sweaty. There is a lot of pressure in the skull. What I mean by pressure in the skull, how will you feel this pressure is, you will feel like your head is gonna break open. Okay.
Yeah,
But there is no headache. All right. There is no noise. There's no chaos, but you just feel like your head is gonna break open. Vivid dreams. Your dreams are so weird that you don't feel like you have slept. You feel like you were somewhere else, and now you're back here, and fuck, you have to get up and go to work sorts. Okay. Flashes of old timelines. Something that a lot of people come back and tell me is they've seen themselves in Hindu Muslim war eras.
hmm,
Okay, they've seen themselves in between a battlefield. They have like I have seen myself in the Sirius timeline. Okay, I have seen myself with the Das Mahavidyas. Okay, so different flashes of older timelines, and older timelines sometimes look completely different from your current timeline, sometimes look very similar to your current timeline. What I mean by that is, you'll find same people but places will be different. Okay,
yeah,
you might be going through similar experience like which you have gone through in this lifetime, but people will be different, places will be different. So when you see these things, please know that okay, it's timeline leakages that is happening. Okay,
hmm,
spontaneous clarity, like let's say you want to do something and you have no idea how to do it, and all of a sudden you have like complete clarity, like step by step, like being complete ADHD in this perspective. You have step by step clarity on what to do, how to do, what to execute, how to execute, when to do it, and people who can help you and everything. Like you have crystal clear clarity about everything, okay? And a lot of emotional release, like crying without any reason. You might be watching a movie or a series or even a scene for that matter. It's not like you're emotionally attached to what you're watching, but you just feel like crying, right?
Mm.
You're talking to somebody and they simply acknowledge you for something and you get all emotional and you're all tears and you're bawling. All of these are symptoms that the solar flares are working for you, okay?
Yeah.
For you. So if you're feeling all these things, please know that you're not too sensitive. Don't
Mm.
give yourself that label, okay? Because that can also push you into the victim consciousness. Oh, I'm very sensitive and that's why I feel like this. Oh, I'm very sensitive, I can't go to crowded places. Oh no, you're not sensitive. It's just that you're very awake, you're very aware, and you are very online with what is happening. So when we talk about solar flares, people usually think of them as something happening out there in the sky, nothing related to me, I really don't care about it. um um, and all these things. Like I want to
Yeah.
say something, but I completely missed out on it. But what most don't realize is that your body is built with multiple Stargate portals. Okay,
Yeah.
actual energy apertures that respond to cosmic activity like solar winds, plasma waves, and Schumann fluctuations. So,
Mm.
when we say Stargate, we are not speaking about it in metaphors, okay? The body actually carries multiple stargates, layered biological and etheric access points closely linked to our DNA and our subtle anatomy, okay? I was telling you earlier about what I do. Now, the work I hold with Stargate Portal Activation is a very sequential initiation that helps people remember their multidimensional self. So, what happens in this is we activate one code after the other, with which we're activating the 12 strand crystic template. So, this is refining electromagnetic circuits, somatic anchors, and your plasma light body coherence. Now, practically, this program is about bringing those inner gates into a very coherent architecture so that your field, okay, your entire field can read planetary signals and clarity without any kind of overwhelm or collapse for that matter. Because if you are not ready to understand what we are talking about, by now you're not listening to anything that we are saying, because this is all very overwhelming for you. Okay, now if this is overwhelming for you, that is a sign that your internal architecture is very clouded. Okay, so please take that as a very serious sign. And so this field activates your like you activating your DNA will, let me cut everything else that I want to say and just say this, that activating your DNA activates your multidimensional self. So you will be a multidimensional being in a human body, living on a dense planet, but not
Mm.
feeling dense.
Mm.
That.
That. Okay. And Priya, I feel like we should do an episode on Stargate portal activation, like separately. It has a lot of information. And on a serious note as well, most of the people feel like, okay, DNA information is for the researchers only, okay? It is for the scientists only. It is for the people who are working in that domain. Okay, we are not medical people. We are not allowed to know. Okay, let's break this conditioning. And I really want to talk about Stargate Portal. I think we let's do an episode in the upcoming
Will do, will
weeks.
do. Will do
Yeah,
it.
and the common things, all I think you have mentioned everything: the sleep cycles and the heat in the wave, uh, waves that
The
you feel
body,
in the
yeah.
body. Yeah. Unpredictable emotions.
Mm.
This is not only because your surrounding is like that, or maybe your internal is like that. Unpredictability in your emotion is also caused by the cellular chemistry. Your circuitry is always in motion. The energetic changes that are ongoing in your body, certainly. I deeply understand sometimes Most of the time, they are not identifiable, but working through all these things, guardians of in between join us, the clarity board, inner
Mm,
self,
mm,
target portal activation. Okay, all these things. Why these things came into origin?
mm,
It came from experience,
mm,
and it contains all the medicine to be. It is not to reach somewhere, to
mm.
just be. That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So let your system absorb all the new solar codes. We will be talking about the new solar cycle and all the related things in our upcoming episode as well. And Priya, would you like to talk more about how we are sensing the land in our bodies, or would you like to discuss it in our next episode? I think there is a lot to share.
Yeah, but let's continue, I suppose, okay? Because um we have already in between this conversation
Yeah,
about how our body feels it. So now let's just talk about how, let's talk about the connection between the land and the body.
land and the body.
Yeah. So I think if the body and the land, they have this mirror relationship. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if your base chakras, which is your root, your solar, your sacral, your feet or your lower spine reacts or senses
Hmm.
strongly in certain places, then that is the earth's way of communicating with you. Okay.
Hmm.
For example, let's say you go to a place for the very first time. Okay, you might have seen them on internet, but then seeing is not experiencing, right? So let's say when you go to a place for the very first time, and there will be a moment which just comes very organically. You're there in between this whole uh, road and trees and everything. There's going to be a moment of silence where you just stand there and you can feel the air. You can feel the air in your skin in a way that you have never felt before. You see the scene in front of you, which literally brings tears to your eyes, and you don't know why you're tearing up. Okay. These are the signs that there is a connection between you and that land so deep that it's almost like a soul contract, or it is a soul contract. Okay. So some of the common signs that you will feel when the earth is communicating with you is you'll feel heavy or charged before an earthquake or a storm. The earthquake or a storm doesn't have to happen in your locality. Okay, that's the beauty of it. You being connected with earth will make you feel a certain way, anxious, restless before something happens. Just like how an animal can understand when a natural calamity is going to hit.
Yes.
Okay. Certain places will feel very loud or alive for you guys if you're connecting with the land, or the land is connecting with you. You very consciously, no, you very unconsciously will avoid unstable areas, meaning you will generally not feel like going to some places. Okay,
Hmm.
geographically some places, I mean. Okay.
Hmm.
And then you will get instructions while walking. What I mean by that is, let's say you're walking through this land, you will get to know what that land has gone through in the past.
Yes.
Okay. So you will when you touch a tree, you will know what that tree has seen in the past. When you see a tree that has been cut down, and when you touch this the trunk or the stalk of the tree, you'll be able to know why the tree was cut down. Okay, this is the land communicating with you, and everything that I have told you is from my own experience. Okay. um your body reacts to land tension before your mind can catch up to it. So these are not coincidences, guys. These are indicators of your original connection to the planetary grid. So if any of you listeners have felt any of these things, it's a sign that you got to be part of the guardians of the in between. Like, there is no clearer sign than this. Okay. Like, I was not even expecting that I will tell you this, but it makes absolute sense, because all the people who are there in guardians of the in between have felt, have experienced these kind of experiences, and that is why they are there. So this is like a very clear distinction. If you feel this, then please come be a part of it, because we would love to meet you.
Right. So, as you have mentioned that when you touch a tree or when you go to a land, you will end up having a certain piece of information, or it can be not an information but a feeling
Mm,
or
mm.
an emotion as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I have seen mention of seership in so many civilizations,
Mm,
uh, and a lot of mention in the grid work as well.
mm,
So let's just unfold how seership, what seership really is, and why some people hold more information than others. And I feel like it is a very interesting fact now that people might be identifying, okay, I do feel like it.
mm,
Yes, we do feel this way.
mm,
But I have seen some people, we ourselves, we are doing so much work, and people ask us, and this is the most prominent question if you see our profiles as
mm,
well. Like every third, fourth post is having this question or a message we do get every other day. How do you know this?
mm.
How do you have all this information?
Without being very egoistic, okay? I think those of you who, those of us, let's say that way, those of us who feel this are people with deeper memory banks, okay? We have ancestral memory, we have star lineages, we have memories of our past life, we have agreements, we have soul contracts to do this work in this lifetime, okay? That is a reason why the system carries context that others don't, because they have held these roles across timelines, okay? And not everybody does the same kind of work in every lifetime. So we all, how we have different occupations now, like doctors and lawyers and engineers, even in the previous lifetimes we have had different roles and responsibilities like that. They were just not doctors and lawyers and engineers. They were medicine women or medicine men and priests and priestesses and people who were grid workers, because we are talking about it, shadow workers, light workers. We have had many roles and regulations. So it depends on what is your system carrying, which will give you information of those roles that you have held across timelines, okay? Think of it as the archetype, like oracle who knows about a lot of things. You have come across so many people. I think there's a lady, the blind lady who could talk about incidents before they happened. I think it was Lady
Okay.
Vanga, somebody like that, right? So these are the people who are living between the worlds, like shamans, right? Like, the reason why we called our group guardians of the in between is not because we live on either this side or that side. It's because we can see this way and that way, being a bridge, being in between. That is why that group is called guardians of the in between. That is why when we do the work, we are not creating a chaotic environment to do the work. We're very, like, very stealth mode, go finish work, come back of sorts, okay? So these are the people in between.
Hmm. So, can we say that seership is basically not the ability to predict future? Okay. So, it is the ability to read beneath the lines,
Yeah, hidden architectures.
hidden architectures, right? So, the why behind every event,
Yeah,
post events as well,
yeah,
and even after the events as well.
yeah,
So I have seen mention of such people in so many civilizations.
yeah.
If you see Nordic culture,
Mm,
so you will see mention of vulvas.
mm,
Okay, and in Siberian culture, there were shamans.
mm,
Okay, there were druids,
mm,
and there were some other similar people. So,
mm.
who were they? These were actually the people who could actually feel the hidden architecture of the cosmos, not only just planet Earth.
No.
And even in the Rishi consciousness, if you see how our Vedas and Shastras have been channeled and written,
Mm,
okay? So from what them, if you dive deeper into it, you see the whole process.
mm.
It is through seership.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think most of the population right now, I forgot that movie. Most of the population right now is entering the drashta zone. I would name it a drashta zone. So
Can
what?
you elaborate?
Yes, drashtas are basically the ones, we all are drashtas. Drashta is related to drishti.
Okay.
Okay, drishti or sight.
Mm.
So basically, our quantum
Mm.
sight is unfolding in such a way, in such a multi-dimensional manner that sometimes it is very overwhelming. But there are people who can hold such information,
Mm.
and uh, by the way, these people have been in the think tank of the governments as well. Okay, that's another topic.
Mm.
But the geoengineers as well,
Mm. Mm.
people who can, the track the uncertainties that are going to happen. So in grid work, I feel like seership gives it a clear precision.
Mm.
So when you work on your inner self,
Mm.
this is also likewise, you mentioned those 6, 7 pointers.
Mm. Mm.
They were all in resonance with seership.
Mm. Yeah, because who is a seer? Like,
Yeah,
if we have to break that down, it is somebody who has done so much tapasya, who
huh,
has understood what my greed is, what
yeah,
my want is, what my need is, uh, who first they try to understand who they are, and once they understand who they are, then they would prefer to be nobody, right?
nobody.
So a seer is not somebody who is somebody. A
Yeah,
seer is somebody who is a nobody, who
definitely.
doesn't need an identity, who's not egoic about, oh, this is who I am,
Yes.
right? Because you cannot work on yourself or on the planet or on anything else if you have this ego of this is who I am.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because that is just your ego, that is just your protective personality that is keeping you from going anywhere from there. So
true.
you're labeling that this is you, this is me, meaning I'm not going to budge beyond this because my ego is so protective that if I am not that, then I don't have an identity.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
seers are not somebody who guesses, they
Mhm.
just recognize, they
Yeah,
work. Okay,
yeah.
they don't imagine,
Mhm.
they interface. Okay,
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
can be one and they can be many,
Both. Mm.
and they are already doing what they are supposed to do because they are wired that way. They don't have to have a title. Like, I have many people who inboxes me saying that, oh, the government is doing this and they have stripped me down and they have made me powerless and they have shadow banned me and they have this and they have that. And my question to them is, what are you doing about it?
Yeah,
Are you complaining about it? Because then that is what you're going to do, because you feel that you are being victimized, right? Now that is because you have an ego, and that ego is protecting you. That ego is not letting you do anything else. My account is shadow banned. Not many people see what I put out, and that's fine.
yeah,
Whoever has to see will see. Because I believe and I know, forget about me believing, I know that there is a higher power. So,
yeah,
what, where are you? What is your foundation? What kind of foundation are you giving yourself? Is what all of this is going to come down to.
right. So I have also received like 10 plus messages, similar to what you have mentioned, that government is doing this,
Mm,
organizations are doing that. And by the way, people will be talking about all these things as well in our upcoming episodes. But coming back to what we are talking today is about the basics of grid work. I think we have touched so many domains, and uh, there comes a fact that we are the earth,
yeah.
and why earth is our first way of life, why earth is our first religion, why earth is our consciousness, why all these things are it so much in line. Okay,
Mm,
so
mm,
no matter where your soul originates, it doesn't matter.
mm,
Your human body, your very existence is earth.
yeah.
Your minerals, they are earth. Your breath, it is earth. The moment you incarnated here, your first language became the earth frequency. So, guys, do not feel that you are separate from her or you are
Because
part of her. You are
yeah,
her.
yeah, because she's not hosting us.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
souls, we decided to incarnate on Earth because Earth is the biggest and the most toughest school that you can ever be in, right? So she's an
yeah,
amazing teacher. Every lineage we remember, every galactic code we hold, every dimensional experience we have access to, all of it expresses through the Earth body first.
hmm,
So if you feel that oh, I don't belong to this place, I want to go back home,
hmm,
that is you doing injustice for the body that you have, for the place that you are in. So you're here right now at this point in time, you might as well make the best use of it.
yeah. And you were earth before you were anything else. Just remember this. Okay. And that's why gridwork feels so much natural to some people. Okay. And it's literally their first interface with existence. So uh, I think let's uh, just wrap up
Before we
and
do that, if
mhm,
you have listened to everything that we had to say today, and if you felt that these people can see me because we were able to pick up some points which you have gone through, because those are the points that we went through, okay, and
mhm,
you trust that feeling that you are seen today or recognized today, then let me tell you that you're not imagining this connection to the land, to the sky, to the fields, okay, you are simply remembering it. um
and we would love to connect with all of you, all the grid workers, sensitive, seers, stabilizers, land listener, anybody.
yeah,
Let us just wave off the titles. Anybody who feel connected to what we have shared today,
yeah.
please share with your friends and connect with us. You're most welcome to connect with us. We are so looking forward to connect with all the like origin souls, and do join Guardians of In Between.
So this was our first episode of what is grid work and what lies beneath everything, and the grid just remembers you even though you forget them. So in the next episode we're going to go deeper with land memory, ancient ley lines, new solar cycle timelines, and we're going to touch on some very interesting things.
Hmm.
So thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, grid remembers you even when you forget the grid. Yeah.
Thank you everybody.
Okay.